2v2 Argus Desert Gate blue team. We've got Sneery Thug plays a Chaos Lord durable and destructive commander, walks through cover and cannot be suppressed. Very good offense and disruption, fights mainly in melee combat. Alongside is Sneaky Cthulhu Chunks playing an Imperial Fist Force commander, very good offense, fights in melee combat, can also tank, disrupt and support with buffs. This is the Imperial Fist DLC scheme, by the way, not ordinary Imperial Fists, which mostly changes the Force Commander and Apothecary, I think. Red team, 18th Juju Hunters is a Warboss melee commander that walks through cover, very good offense, disruption and support from the front lines. This is Freebooters DLC. And riding off the teams is Ekul, plays a Warp Spider Exarch, teleporting commander that fights range combat, very good capping and harassing with some nasty control abilities as well. Up against Tactical Marines and Scouts, they're having to teleport back away into this heavy cover, as some Howling Banshees and Dire Avengers, which are a bit further back, waiting for him to teleport backwards again. Chaos Space Marines and some Tactical Marines on the field for blue team, being charged back here though by the Warboss. Double CSM on the way for Sneery Thug. There's a Doom Blast just to keep that Warboss away from smacking stuff in melee combat. He's taken down Heretics though with his sidearm there. That big shooter he wields one-handed. Now he's in amongst CSM. Can he get a model here? He does. I think it's 42.5 DPS melee damage with that default weapon of his, which is a massive pirate cutlass type thing with Freebooters DLC, but those CSM do get away. East side though, Scouts are capping down to 2 models, just about. Pretty lucky to have 2 models really. Force Commander looks like he forced off the Howling Banshees and the rest of the Eldar stuff with the help of the Tactical Marines, who are now shooting up a node. Force Commander, I think, making the right decision here and decapping rather than trying to smack on the node with his chainsword. Red team doing very well in the middle and the west thanks to Juju Hunters. Sluggers have found some Chaos Space Marines, a risky engagement for the CSM because of those specials, but here comes some support and they are forced to retreat away. Look at this natural Rick Point decapped. We have full gens up here, all purchased by Cthulhu Chunks or Sneaky. Flamer on the way, but I'm not sure if he's going to get it up in time to deal with the power node before a bunch of Eldar stuff comes up. Here are some Rangers with their Pathfinder gear already. Allows them to deploy those hollow fields to infiltrate allied squads, which can lead to some very, very nasty plays with Howling Banshees infiltrated, coming out of nowhere and chopping the crap out of stuff. There's the stomp from the Warboss's starting ability. He does have the spiky armor as well, so those Heretics are going to need to be incredibly careful trying to fight this guy in melee combat now. They don't have their aspiring champion either, so they will die in very, very quickly. It does, let's see, 6 piercing damage in a radius of 3, so it's an air of effect. It doesn't just affect the model that hits him, it affects every model around him whenever he's hit. So whenever a full squad of 8 Heretics constantly hitting him, they're going to be taking tons and tons of DPS. Dire Avengers behind an energy shield. Ekul not taking the opportunity to push against the power and just see what's there rather than try and take it down. We do have Scouts with a shotgun, or shotguns I should say, they get 1 per model. Some pretty decent DPS of these things, but Scouts so fragile, getting close. Even just from Dire Avenger fire they can drop models pretty quickly trying to get close. Need to be careful how you use them. Havoc's on the field from Sneery. Cthulhu spending all of his power on his war gear right now. He's got Artificer up, he's got, did he get the Flamer? I'm not sure if he did. And those shotguns. Rangers, a decent garrison counter. That big burst damage will get through the protection of a garrison pretty nicely. He did not get the Flamer in the end. Havoc's almost taken down by the Orks. Howling Banshees, I should say, Heretics pushing forward, and Sluggers do get away. No aspiring champion for those guys, or a grenade launcher will both be pretty useful. He's gone for double Eternal War here. Where's the Chaos Lord? I haven't seen much from this guy. He's capping the west side, he's taking it. Look at the map though, very, very red. Pushed back to their very, very natural points here. And now Ekul pushes forward. He should have pushed forward as soon as he'd forced off those tactical marines, but now some assault marines in his face, and he might not have the opportunity to bash. Assault marines, I assume, are going to try and jump the rangers. Do not have a scout sergeant, so hollow fields and infiltration will be pretty damn effective right now. We do have the aspect of strength up on the Howling Banshees. Orks retaking the west side. Here comes that Chaos Lord. No sign of any war gear for him yet, but they do have full gens up here, blue team. Red team have a node in mid, kicking off on the east side. Howling Banshees counter-initiating against those assault marines, and there's that damage from the Dire Avengers on the scouts, forcing them off. Just about get away. Do they 6 hit points? They do get away. Now it's a Force Commander and Assault Marines versus Howling Banshees. Howling Banshees taking out a model there. Assault Marines having to defensively jump away and retreat. Banshees down to 3 models though, need to be very careful. Wow, he's taken a massive risk keeping his ladies in the fight. They do have a reasonable amount of hit points with those 3 models, but they are forced off here. Did reasonably well. Took down an Assault Marine, forced them off, and didn't lose too much. 2 models out of the 5. Double CSM putting out a decent amount of piercing damage with those Eternal War upgrades. Heretics being quite passive with these heretics. Haven't seen any good worship alongside this Chaos Lord. Here comes that Warboss. Oh, the heretic's going to engage him. Does he not know he has spiky armor? He might not know because he's engaging now. Warboss with a stomp. He's trying to get in amongst the Havocs and has done. And there's a special attack. The Warboss is going to go down though. But the heretics almost. Wow, they've got 6 models with 100 hit points. That is so lucky. Here comes a Death Dread though, with burners and bits. So now he needs to decide. Does he get a las cannon for these guys and lose his suppression, or get an autocannon and try and get that anti-everything damage going? Double autocannons can be incredibly powerful, especially supported by a Corn Shrine which buffs their damage. Dire Avengers capping, they have their Exarch. There he is with that fancy sword. 177, 500. Red team haven't lost a VP yet, but they might now because Chaos Lord's capping west and they have the east. Double Assault Marines for Sneaky. Wow. There we go. There's that double jump, chaining that knockback, and now the Force Commander can come in with a battle cry and buff all their damage. He needs to get those special attacks off though to stack those buffs, and it's worn off. Howling Banshees in a lot of trouble. Assault Marines and the Force Commander in retreat path and not going to get away from that. He pushed way too much there against the double Assault Marines. Tactical Marines do have a flame up. Scouts again very lucky to get away with 2 models. There's the jump. And are we going to see a Wraith Lord from Ekul? He's replacing his Howling Banshees first. Sneery has Plague Marines, so he might not get any different weapon for his Havocs after. We might rely on his Plague Marines to at least deter the Death Dread from engaging, if not take it down entirely. But I assume it's just going to run after the Plague Marines and tie them up if it can. Sluggers capping the... no, they're not capping. Fully upgraded with their Snob Leader and their burners. Look at the Dakar from these fully upgraded shooters. That is pretty scary. Get some aspiring champions on his Chaos Space Marines perhaps. Stand up a lot better to the double shooters, especially if they can find a favourable cover situation. There's a revive from Ekul on the Warboss that levels Ekul to 2. He's fully upgraded here. Anti-gravity grenade, enhanced warp jump generator, and the entangling web. Good choices against those assault marines. I think entangling web is a fire and forget way to stop them, and if they both jump on the same location, he can try and time this anti-grav grenade to disable both squads. 177, 426. Havocs eat a stomp. There's some Corn worship. Those heretics worshipping very strangely there. There we go, now they spread out. That was odd. 177, 420. Assault Marines in amongst these shooters, and the Force Commanders there. Walks the Rex up, taking the opportunity to decap mid. And Sneaky is coming back pretty strong here. He's really late going to tier 2 with these double assault marines, but they've done very, very well. Wraithlord did not hit the field quickly enough. He could get one now. And there's that spiky armor doing work against his assault marines. He's going to lose the squad if he's not careful. Has he completely forgot about this, guys? What is going on here? He's going to lose the squad. Or is he? No, he's not. He's forced off before he can take the last hit. 3 hit points on these assault marines. 1 hit point apparently, according to Juju there in the chat. Wow, incredibly lucky to get a... Not sure what the heck was going on there. Why didn't just jump those guys away? Howling Banshees capping east side. No, they leave it to the Orks for Exarch. He does have an Exarch on these newly purchased Banshees. They're still level 1 though. And if we see a Thunderhammer, they're going to have a bit of a tough time, I think. Rangers with their hollow fields. Haven't really seen it come into play. Where are those scouts? They do have a sergeant now. Juju going straight to tier 3, and why not? He's done very well with his tier 1 army. Death Shred has gone down. Didn't not even see it go down, in fact. I assume the Plague Marines had something to do with that. There's the Havoc suppressing that blob very, very quickly under Corn Worship so they can tear up and move faster. Well, they can't tear up faster, that they can move faster once they've torn up. And surely we're going to see him push POW here, surely. Chaos Lord has his Combi Flamer and Armored Inferno. Bad news for double shooters, but here comes a knob squad from Juju. We've seen very little, in fact I think, oh, we have seen some POW harass here, that node right at the start, but didn't take it down. Warboss getting in all sorts of trouble, double CSM shooting at him, shotgun scouts, and a Chaos Lord needs to run away. He needs some support here from Ekul. Ekul is not responding now, there he goes. He's decapped the power, and now he's going to move over and support, is he? Seems to be reluctant to do so here. 151387 Plague Marines now joining the fight. There's the Assault Marine jump, and there's another one with Let the Galaxy Burn flying in also. Only 1 fireball there for some reason, it looked like. Shooters getting absolutely wrecked. Why did he keep them in the fight that long? Loses both squads and his sluggers. Wow, lost his entire army almost. Only has a knob squad. He should have retreated immediately when he got jumped there. Stayed in that engagement way too long. Looks like he retreated the wrong thing. He retreated his Warboss instead, I think. Assault Marines forced to retreat, but they do get away. We have some Dark Reapers now for Ekul. Is Juju going to be able to recover from this? He is in tier 3 and does have a knob squad alongside those awesome Warboss buffs, of course, as well. These guys have their knob leader now getting their hammers, and these Chaos Space Marines are in a fight they don't want to be in. Retreats them very late, but looks like they are going to get away. That one model was out there. Havoc's there to suppress. No sign of frenzy to break it. Is he just going to try and tank the damage of the heavy bolter? In fact, they are retreating out there. Force Commander goes down in retreat to Howling Banshees, and that levels them to 2. What's the Exarch is level 4. Warboss still with that spiky armor. Both blue commanders down. So one of them is going to need to repurchase, most likely the Chaos Lord, because the Force Commander is closer. Chaos Dreadnought on the field. He's gone for the Mark of Khorne. Can try and use this perhaps alongside Demonic Visage to try and go toe to toe with those knobs. Dreadnoughts, by the way, are set to get a melee resistance aura, or I should say melee walkers in general, which is gonna be a considerable buff against stuff like knob squads and assault terminators. Dreadnoughts will finally be incredibly scary in melee combat. We'll see how that change goes in an upcoming update. So I assume that's going to be Wraith Lords, Khorne Dreadnoughts, and default Space Marine Dreadnoughts, and melee Grey Knight Dreadnoughts, and the Death Dread. I do not think it's going to affect Carnifexes, but it might. They do get a whole bunch of XP, of HP I should say, Carnifexes already. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to affect them. It must say on that post. You can check all this stuff out on the forum where Keltos has posted a tentative balance log for an upcoming update. You can see the myriad of changes that are upcoming. There's that Blood Rage Dreadnought going to town on that Nob squad, and they are forced off immediately. There's too much stuff here to deal with. And some Sturgarn veterans on the field for sneaky. Have Hellfire rounds loaded in. They're going to want to use their Kraken bolts against the Nob squad though, since they're heavy infantry. And Storm Boys up. Not very often you see Storm Boys purchased in tier 3 getting their Nob leader. You might see him just go to town with his melee forces and stack up some nasty buffs and things. Does he have the Bang Bang Hammer? No, he's gone for the Claw and the Trophy Rack, which debuffs surrounding enemies, much like the Demonic Massage, which the Chaos Lord can get, but he hasn't got it yet. 72, 335, I think he should. With those dangerous melee forces around, he's flaming the crap out of these Dark Reapers, which are happy to tank it at the moment. Almost dealt with those Assault Marines, but I think they got away without a model loss there. Now the Khorne Dreadnought using the Blood Rage, buffing its damage, reducing the damage it takes, and increasing its speed. And why would he try and take it on with a Storm Boy squad? Even with buffs, they are not going to stand up to a Blood Rage Dreadnought. And Juju is back to just his Nob squad, and red team are struggling to hold back and get squad losses on the blue team. Look at this, we have a Whirlwind up for sneaky. Artillery piece, very very good disruption from range. If it can hit stuff, it's not going to reliably hit a single commander, that's for sure. Double CSM, no aspiring champions for these guys. They didn't need it. That double ASM push just wiped out those shooters incredibly easily. Might see Marco Zinch, in fact we do see Marco Zinch to try and counter this Nob squad with sheer DPS. Another Chaos Dreadnought on the way for Sneery. 72-283. Our red team going to be able to withstand this Whirlwind getting disruption on that Nob squad. Blood Rage again used. You do lose control of the Dreadnought though, so once its initial target dies or gets too far away, you can see it change targets. 72-256, triple cap for blue team, and then they're going to need to do something pretty special here to lose this, I think. They should have this sewn up, surely. Bright Lance getting really good damage on this Dreadnought. No, look at this. Does get far enough away though. Is that double Marco Zinch for the CSM? No, one squad without a mark. Some Khorne worship still going, which does affect your vehicles. Avatar on the way soon for Ekul. He's floating like crazy. Maybe an earlier Fire Prism would have been better. We do have a looted tank on the way for Juju. Of course, kind of decapping this side, still with just the Artificer. Doesn't even need his hammer to deal with the Nob squad. There's just too much stuff for them to really have an impact here. That Storm Boy loss was huge. They just got their squad leader and he sank 2 global buffs into them. Triple cap is not good for red team. Blue team just camping mid. He's not going to be able to do anything. He's pushing again against this. Can he get one loss on something? Can he take out the Chaos Lord here? Warboss is forced off, and Nob squad just prodding and then being forced off again. They've got the power locked down. Sluggers are trying to cap it again. Meanwhile, Ekul is pushing east side, and he's taking down some stuff, has he? He's taken down the Force Commander. And he's going to take it, and that power is still capped for red as well. 72-115. Time is running out though. Double melters on the looted tank, which has completely locked it into place, and now it's turned around for rear armor hits, and down it goes. Juju having a torrid time on this side, trying to fight 2 players. He should just hang back here and try and get his power up and try and defend that instead of trying to push. Or at least wait for Ekul, and here comes Ekul. Where's the Nob squad now? They need to move out of base and get involved here. They're fighting alone. 2 versus 1. 72-90. Double Markov Khorne Dreadnoughts hanging back there. These double assault marines have done really well. Very lucky to get away in one instance against that Warboss, but otherwise have done a pretty stand-up job in tangling web. Hasn't I don't think I've seen him use it. He must have used it, I just haven't noticed it. But he's going to go down here. Yeah, just too much stuff. 72, 75. That engagement for Juju just completely screwed him over. He seems to be in disarray since then, losing his Storm Boys in a pretty silly manner, trying to take on a Blood Rage Dreadnought. Hey, people injured here. 2v2. Argus Desert Gate blue team. We've got Sneery Thug plays a Chaos Lord durable and destructive commander, walks through cover and cannot be suppressed. Very good offense and disruption, fights mainly in melee combat. Alongside is Sneaky Cthulhu Chunks playing an Imperial Fist Force commander, very good offense, fights in melee combat, can also tank, disrupt and support with buffs. This is the Imperial Fist DLC scheme, by the way, not ordinary Imperial Fists, which mostly changes the Force Commander and Apothecary, I think. Red team, 18th Juju Hunters is a Warboss melee commander that walks through cover, very good offense, disruption and support from the front lines. This is Freebooters DLC. And riding off the teams is Ekul, plays a Warp Spider Exarch, teleporting commander that fights range combat, very good capping and harassing with some nasty control abilities as well. Up against Tactical Marines and Scouts, they're having to teleport back away into this heavy cover, as some Howling Banshees and Dire Avengers, which are a bit further back, waiting for him to teleport backwards again. Chaos Space Marines and some Tactical Marines on the field for blue team, being charged back here though by the Warboss. Double CSM on the way for Sneery Thug. There's a Doom Blast just to keep that Warboss away from smacking stuff in melee combat. He's taken down Heretics though with his sidearm there. That big shooter he wields one-handed. Now he's in amongst CSM. Can he get a model here? He does. I think it's 42.5 DPS melee damage with that default weapon of his, which is a massive pirate cutlass type thing with Freebooters DLC, but those CSM do get away. East side though, Scouts are capping down to 2 models, just about. Pretty lucky to have 2 models really. Force Commander looks like he forced off the Howling Banshees and the rest of the Eldar stuff with the help of the Tactical Marines, who are now shooting up a node. Force Commander, I think, making the right decision here and decapping rather than trying to smack on the node with his chainsword. Red team